Good morning, Professor. Good morning, everyone. This is Maria Fuentes, and I will present an article called Leading Change, Creating Dissatisfaction with the Status Quo for Change Management. This is today's agenda. Managing change. This is going to be our first topic. Then you are going to talk about dissatisfaction, how to create dissatisfaction, the model, the process, what is the cost of change, balancing driving forces with reduction of losses, and our references. Managing change. Managing change has become a crucial competence which today's managers must have. International competition and their regulation have forced corporations to seek and adopt more effective approaches to management, strategic planning, marketing, and manufacturing. In many firms, these changes amount to major shifts in the culture of the organization, in the basic behavior and belief system of the organization. We have a conceptual formula that incorporates the critical dimensions of change which must be taken into consideration by managers. The formula can be summarized as follows: amount of change, dissatisfaction by model by process, is more than the cost of change. Dissatisfaction. Before change can take place, key organization members who are to adopt new attitudes and behavior must be dissatisfied with the status quo. This dissatisfaction with the status quo must be sufficiently deep that they have begun to feel a loss of confidence in themselves and their organization. Dissatisfaction that leads to such loss of confidence is essential because it is the source of energy or motivation for the change, and major organizational change requires an enormous amount of energy. What conditions lead executives to be dissatisfied with the status quo? A survey of the contemporary business scene quickly leads to the conclusion that crisis is the most frequent condition which energizes change. But most companies approach the precipice before major adaptation to new conditions is possible, or are the human and economic causes of a crisis an inevitable byproduct of major change? This is what we are going to define with the formula. How to create this dissatisfaction in companies. If dissatisfaction is the sine qua non for change, leaders must create dissatisfaction in their organizations for change to begin. The following are 4 ways in which this might be done. Information about the organization's competitive environment can be used to generate discussion of current or prospective problems. Top management often doesn't understand why employees are not as concerned about productivity, customer service, or cost as they are. All too often, it is because management has not taken the time to put employees in touch with the same data they have that led to management's dissatisfaction. Often, this information is kept from employees because it is thought to be confidential. Recently, companies trying to be more competitive have begun to communicate this information, making presentations to groups of employees and union leaders. Second, information about the concerns of employees and their perceptions about how the company is being run can be a powerful tool for creating dissatisfaction among managers. Just as competitive information can be a tool for creating dissatisfaction, downward attitude surveys through interviews and questionnaires can be a powerful tool for creating dissatisfaction upward. Consider the manager who doesn't know his subordinates feel uninvolved because he controls too closely, or top management that doesn't understand how the vitality of their organization is being sapped by over management of the part of corporate staff groups. Also, it is not sufficient to provide data. There must be a dialogue about the meaning of the data. This dialogue must arrive at a joint understanding, a diagnosis of underlying reasons for the organization's problems. That dialogue is useful because it provides the means by which both managers and employees can inform each other about their underlying assumptions and evolve and shared explanation for their difficulties. Change managers can also create the energy for change by setting high standards, but not unrealistic ones, and expecting employees to meet them. The managerial act of stating expectations is a means of creating dissatisfactions, so long as the manager is seen as credible and is trusted. While managers often state expectations for profit performance, they rarely demand specific behaviors, even when it is known what behaviors might be necessary to turn a situation around. All four of these methods can individually or in concert serve to mobilize energy for change. Now we're going to talk about the process. Organizational change is not instantaneous. A model of how the organization is to be structured doesn't quickly translate into change in the behaviors of large aggregates of employees. Managers sometimes make the mistake of assuming that announcing the change is the same as making it happen, and it is not like that. The process for change is a sequence of events: speeches, meetings, educational programs, personal decisions, and other events aimed at helping employees, including top management, learn new perspectives, skills, attitudes, and behavior. All things equal, people will become committed to that which they help create. Effective processes of change involve those affected in planning the change and executing it. So it is important that managers are persistent and supporting for employees to connect with the change. The cost of change. The change formula suggests that in order for organizational change to occur, we need dissatisfaction, model, and a process. Must all be present in sufficient strength to overcome the cost of change. The cost of change is the losses employees and other stakeholders anticipate as a result of the change. What are the typical losses that we can name? Power. A major change involves a shift in power. That power may be from manufacturing to marketing, from first-line supervisors to production workers, from staff to line, or from distributors to the direct sales force, for example. Groups and their managers who will be losing power typically resist such changes because of the implications for influence, careers, and status in the organization. Also, we have relationships. Security and comfort in daily work come from a network of relationships which are dependable. Changes in organizational arrangement typically require new relationships and therefore make obsolete this network of people. Also, rewards. Most major organizational changes involve the reassignments of individuals, changes in title and perquisites, changes in the job evaluation points assigned to their new job, for example, and consequently, changes in pay grade and potential compensations. Major change threatens the tangible and intangible rewards of some individuals. And also, identity. Many of the losses described above um, are a whole or in a part a change in the role of the individual manager or worker in the social fabric of the organization. So changes in the workplace often mean a crisis in personal identity. Managers and professionals for whom work is central to their concept of self are particularly subject to this loss of self-esteem. And finally, it is the fear of losses that is the cause of resistance to change. The change formula, that dissatisfaction model process and cost suggests that the greater potential losses associated with the change, the stronger must be the dissatisfaction, the model, and the process. Major changes require considerable dissatisfaction, a clear vision of the future model, and a well-planned process. Losses of competence may be reduced by strong efforts to develop employees in the newly required skills. By development, I mean not only training, counseling, but also coaching, support from supervisors and human resource professionals. The efforts require substantial deviation from accepted practice, announce the change, and make it quickly. It is important to understand that the expected outcome of this is employees with broader skills and corporate perspective developed through cross-functional career paths. When employees are committed to the change, they are going to explore it and be part of the evolution of the company. Thank you so much for your attention today. Have a great day.